Hey, alright everybody, how's it going? Now, my channel is mostly Pro EV. Well, it's all Pro EV. The only anti thing I am on my channel is I'm anti-EVers. And when I say an anti-EV type person, I don't mean somebody who says, I don't fancy an EV, I quite like the car I got now, and they move on. Okay? I'm talking about the hardcore anti-EVers. The ones who come onto my channel, which is Pro EV, and they go on everybody's comment, and they're trying to find anything bad they can type about EVs. They're there all the time. I don't know why. It's a bit weird, right? If I didn't like bananas, say I hated bananas, okay? I wouldn't spend my life watching videos on bananas. If you know what I mean. But these anti-EV types seem to watch Pro EV channels and then get on there. It must be fear. They're fearful of a future where there's no petrol and diesel cars. And they fear it. They fear the unknown. So they're trying to keep everything the way they have it now. That's what it's all about. They're scared of the future. People are scared of the future. People are scared of lots of things. I'm not having to go into them being scared of certain things. I'm having to go with them because then that fear develops into some sort of compulsive disorder where you've got to go on everybody's comment and say EVs are bad, EVs are bad. Anyway, a perfect example is Terry Q7Y, and he pops up every single time with a comment that is negative about EVs, and a lot of the comments he makes just do not make any sense. They don't follow the rule of logic. They're just emotions in his head, and they pop out into the comment section. So Terry's one for my last video on the brake dust one was, it's not a good idea for car dealers to push EVs on old people and mobility people when some EVs can do 0 to 60 faster than a Ferrari. Now, to me that sounds like I'm not sure, but it sounds like he's watched a Not Jeff video. That sounds like something that Not Jeff would come up with. A negative about EVs, trying to grab hold of the Motobility thing and make it a negative thing about EVs. A bit like the McMaster did a few weeks ago. Grabbing hold of the mobility thing, the mobility thing, and trying to have a go at EVs. It's grasping at straws. People are getting way more desperate, and you can tell that the world is changing because the people are getting more desperate. There's another guy who comes onto my channel, Jamie something or other, and he keeps posting, EVs won't be around for long, EVs won't be here for long. He keeps posting it over and over. So is he a real person? Is he a real person, or is he some sort of bot or something? I don't know, because I think he's a real person because he leaves loads and loads of emojis, keeps slapping himself in the face all the time. So, what else did Terry say? Some old people need to retake a driving test, so you're not going to put them in a Ferrari, are you? Now, I'm just going to say to Terry, I'm just trying to explain to him the best way I can. I know Terry drives a Toyota Yaris. He's pointed out he drives a 15-year-old Toyota Yaris, which probably slow, which makes it sound like Terry sounds like an old person himself. Terry, are you an old person yourself? You do sound like an old person. You're never rude. You're not rude or anything, but you just keep coming up with this stuff all the time. Now, I'll give a perfect example. I'll give two examples actually. My daughter's got a 11-year-old Nissan Leaf, and I wouldn't say that's particularly fast. It's got quite a lot of torque, so it does pick up quite quick, but I wouldn't say it's particularly fast, and it's nowhere near a Ferrari. And the reason why you wouldn't offer a Ferrari to a disabled person is because it's so low to the ground, even I couldn't get into it. If you put me in a Ferrari, I probably couldn't get out. You've seen Jeremy Clarkson with his big fat stomach trying to get out of a Ferrari, and he got to clamber out. So you wouldn't offer that type of vehicle to an old person anyway, would you? Not because of the speed, because of how low the car is. Now, some people can drive perfectly well at an old age. My uncle's 80, and he's really he's quite mobile. He can jump up and down. He's still got all his brain. His brain is still there, so he'd be perfectly alright. He drives perfectly fine. Then you do get some older people who are a little bit funny, and if you do get to the age where you can't drive, then really you shouldn't drive anymore, should you? But what I'm trying to say is, not all EVs are as fast as a Ferrari. You've got to spend quite a lot of money on an EV to be as fast, and I think he's talking about 0 to 60 as a Ferrari. You've got to get a performance Tesla, which is £60,000 plus. I haven't seen any performance Model 3s or Ys on the Motobility scheme. Have you seen any? I haven't seen any at all. So you don't tend to have the really fast cars on the Motobility scheme, because the really fast EVs tend to be priced beyond the mobility type of thing. They are a lot more expensive. So Terry, you don't find many 500 bhp electric cars on the mobility scheme. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but most of them, I've looked on a mobility scheme, and a lot of them are more of the low-powered, cheaper end. You can pay towards it to get a faster one, but 500 bhp? No, Terry, stop it. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about was, if I can find it on here, this is me waffling a bit now. And if you think Terry's comment is valid, put it down in the comment section. If you can think of a reason why Terry's being just anti-EV and trying to make up a barrier for people not to have EVs, then put that down in a comment. Because to me, Terry... Did I call him Barry then? Did I call Terry Barry? I can't remember if I called Terry Barry. Terry, if he is just putting up a barrier through his own fears, he's putting a barrier up for other people not to have an EV. And saying a car is too fast is just, to me, seems ridiculous, because there's loads and loads of fast petrol cars around. There's even fast diesel cars around. And Terry didn't mention fast petrol cars. He didn't mention turbo-charged petrol fast cars. He didn't mention them because he doesn't mind them, because he knows, he's already used to petrol cars. He fears electric cars, so they must be barred. Unless Not Jeff said something in one of his videos. Terry, tell me, do you subscribe to Not Jeff or the Workmaster? Put it in the comment section, Terry. We'd all like to know. So, what was the other point I wanted to make? Where did I put that now? Right, the anti-EVers. When I made the video a couple of days ago about the brake dust stuff, some of them still don't understand about regen braking. Some of them call me a liar. Somebody put in the comment section, I can't remember your name, and it wasn't against EVs. They said that they had to have their brakes changed because they seized up from lack of use, and they laughed about it. But unfortunately, that comment then fuels the anti-EV type people, and this person called Jamie something or other then has put his comment, EVs have got to have their brakes changed all the time from lack of use. So this part now is for Jamie, the anti-EVer Jamie. So we've done Terry, the anti-EVer, so this is for Jamie now. And Jamie, trying to listen to what I'm saying now, okay? Try and use a bit of logic. Don't slap yourself in the face again, okay? Because you keep putting them emojis up where you hit yourself in the face. You're going to do yourself some brain damage, or maybe you've already done yourself some brain damage. I'm not quite sure. But if we look at this article here in front of me, now this came from a person who is, smarter than me, and he's done a lot of tests and whatnot, and that is Dr. Ewan McTurk. And this was an RAC article, and he was talking about brakes, okay? So here we go. Let me just put this a little bit further forward here. In this report, the RAC, Dr. McTurk, states most of the braking in electric cars is done via regenerative braking, where the electric motor works in reverse, converting kinetic energy from the moving vehicle into electricity to charge the battery when slowing down. This not only reduces the use of the mechanical brake discs and pads, but adds range to the vehicle too. In addition, the world's biggest manufacturer, Volkswagen Group, has taken a decision for its EVs built on its new universal platform to switch the rear brakes from discs to drums. The brakes are enclosed and any particulates are captured rather than released into the atmosphere. Now here's some case studies for you, Jamie, okay? Dr. McTurk says Dundee Taxi Rentals, okay? And they've used these vehicles now, okay? Dundee Taxi Rentals says the brake pads on its 11 Nissan Leaf taxis have a lifespan of 80 to 100,000 miles. I'll say that again. They have a lifespan of 80 to 100,000 miles. 4 times that of the diesel taxis. So I'll say that again. This is directed to you, Jamie. Okay? Anybody remember the thing, Jamie and his magic torch? Jamie. Anyway, so this is from, like I said, it's a case study really, because it's from actual use. They've had the vehicles, they've used them, and this is what happened. And they last in 4 times that of the diesel vehicles. And it says the discs tend to be changed due to warping rather than wear, unlike conventional fueled vehicles, and last twice as long as those on diesel. So it's saying the pads last 4 times as long and the discs last twice as long as those on the diesel taxis. Okay, so that's Dundee Taxi Rentals. In addition, Cleveley EV, one of the best known EV mechanics in the UK, based in Cheltenham, regularly sees EVs with brakes that have lasted over 100,000 miles. The company says if they ever need to replace an EV's brakes, it's not because of wear, it's because they've seized up due to lack of use. And this is around 100,000 miles. Okay, tyres. Let's look at tyres and what he has to say about tyres. Now, I gotta say, I'm all for reducing particulate matter, okay? I'm all for it. And if any study makes brake pads better, so the stuff that comes off brake pads is nicer for your lungs, it'll still be bad for your lungs, but you know what I mean. I'm all for it. I'm not against it, I'm for it. But if you want to reduce brake particulate matter, an EV is the best direction to go. It's better than diesel and petrol cars because they haven't got regen braking. And I'll say it again for Jamie. This is just for Jamie, right? The brakes lasted 4 times longer than the diesel taxis, because he has left a comment. I'll try and put it up by here now. He's a bit of a, I'm not going to say that, he's an idiot. He is an idiot. So let's go on to tyres then, okay? So he has mentioned tyres. I know this is a lot of waffle in this video, but I'd rather use studies, so then the anti-EV types can't, it shuts them dead. It shuts them down. Not shuts them dead, shuts them down. Dr. McTurk said an emission analytics 2020 press release stated that cars they tested shed, he was talking about electric car tyres, and it was some sort of press release which stated that they shed 9.28 grams of particulate matter per mile or 5.8 grams per kilometre from its tyres. And the study was actually doing worst case scenario. Now, worst case scenario is like when you've got people wheel spinning, going around corners fast, not just in an electric car, in any car. If you've got, the boy racers who run around the roundabouts, wheel spinning everywhere, their tyres are not going to last very long, are they? If you drive a car normally, they're going to last longer. It was a worst case scenario featuring the cheapest tyres and heavy ballast in a car, driving at speeds with much cornering. This point wasn't made clear in the press. Well, no surprises there. This point wasn't made clear in the press release, which was subsequently reported extensively in the media. A typical family car weighs around. Typical family car tyre weighs around 9 kilograms, giving a total weight of 36 kilograms. If a car had shed that much particulate matter, its tyres would physically disappear in less than 4,000 miles. And the car would be running on its alloys. So the whole tyre would disappear. So it's another hit piece. The tyres were a hit piece. Now, we got another sort of study by here. Dr. McTurk added, Dundee Taxis Rentals reports that the lifespan of the front tyres of the electric front... I'll start again. I'll start it or finish. Dundee Taxi reports that the lifespan of the front tyres on their all-electric front-wheel drive Nissan Leafs is about 5 to 10,000 miles less than the diesel taxis. But more positively, the rear tyres last exactly the same amount, covering 30 to 36,000 miles before needing replacing. Cleveland EV Mobile's high mileage cross-country electric vans show that the tyre lifespan of the front-wheel drive EVs can be just as good as petrol or diesel cars. They say the MG EV, which is only 4 months old, is approaching 20,000 miles and all tyres still have plenty of tread. James Coates, who is a veteran mechanic and an accurate judge of component wear, believes they will get 30 to 35,000 miles out of all 4 tyres. Now, he did do a follow-up video to that, and I think they got close to 50,000 miles on some of the tyres, if I remember correctly. So, with that being said, I know this video was a lot of waffle, and it was directed towards 2 special people. I'm going to call them special people who like to comment about bad things constantly on my channel. So there we go. And also, just to note, I have emailed the author and the professor, was it, or doctor, who did that study on brake dust, and I have pointed out that they haven't mentioned regen braking in this study at all. The one person I had a reply said they're on holidays till the 24th because it must be, I think it's a bit of a break-up for schools and whatnot. So they're coming back. So I'll see if they reply back to me or not. But I have pointed out to them that the study didn't seem to have anything, because it doesn't seem like it was based on actual cars driving around. It seems like the study was based on them having brake pads and taking material off them. I'm not quite sure. The study doesn't say that they used brake dust off car wheels or car tyres. It didn't say that they took the brake dust from the roads and the streets. So the study doesn't actually say where the actual particles are coming from. So it could have been from the brake pads, it could have been from off the wheels of the car, it could have been off the road. I'm not sure. The study doesn't point that out either. So if they're going to put stuff like this out so the media can grab hold of it, they need to be a bit more... this study needs to say exactly where they got the stuff from. And actually, if they're going to do studies like this, then study the vehicles themselves and how they react. Don't just do like a blanket thing and then say something that's a load of old nonsense. Anyway, if you're still here and you followed along with what I've said, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Ahoy!